Good morning. It is the 17th day of April 2019. My name is Derek. We'll take a look at gold, silver, and Canadian dollars. Switch on over to the SPY. Follow that through onto Bitcoin and talk about the spending of Bitcoin. And interesting situation because one of the things that I've been talking about are people are just going to be forced to take it. And well, I'm in that situation where, well, I'll explain that at the very end. Gold against the CAD in the daily, on the daily chart, has had that nice little gain coming in from the November 12th lows or 13th lows, whichever, and going from the high 15s up to the mid to high 17s. Now falling down to 1700, a long sideways correction. We'll call it starting from the upper part in here just before Christmas. And within that, okay, what does that mean on the weekly? Well, that sideways move is the move from the October lows, not the December lows, as it came from 1521. And now that's what we're looking at is stage number two in form here. Stage number one is band flattening it. We can see in here, stage one, establish resistance, come back and break it. So there's your bull market at 1637, and it had to move up to 1770. So now it's trying to do the opposite. The 18, of course, is on the flat side. One of the things to look out for is the Fibonacci from point low to point high, which is from here up to here. Maybe there's different ones available. But last time we looked at the Fibonacci, well, I didn't look at it, but when looking at Fibonacci from here to here, somewhere around here at 61.8, there wasn't resistance. So it made a move to a pierce above previous high. It made a move where it had about 13, however many candles it was from Christmas weeks, so 15 or so, 16, but 15, 16 weeks of congesting and holding and staying above this upper end from here and here. So that's a good sign in itself there. So having any type of correctionary moves, if it finds the lows and any type of decent higher low, especially if it's around 1658 or north of that area, 16, the high 1650s, or excuse me, numbers above the 1650s. That's another way of putting it. If it finds it anywhere around there and then it just starts lifting off and just gets back to that area, that's a big move to not do anything else, because whether it doesn't go down and it finds support here, or even if it does so at a nice higher level, that to me shows a lot of bullish sentiment within this monthly chart. Just like gold having a major level that has been tested for quite some time, this one's even bigger. This one has more times hit. It goes back to its highs in 2011. It's the all-time highs against the Canadian move. We can see it had this little bit of a failed breakdown before this, and since the failed breakdown, having the minimal move you would expect, but not really. It just came back to where it came from, and I was just congesting within this area. So that's a strong little sentiment in here. And the 18 average of lows is about 1635. Let's move on to silver. And it's having a similar sort of sideways move. Not really, but really, I guess. It's got this low, barely lower than this. This one is barely lower than that. Maybe it might do another barely lower one at 1960. I don't know. If it does come down to any type of key levels, this 19 and a third level represents about a 61.8% down, which would also be in line with the resistance area from November, and getting above the 18 average since the since in here it gets above it at this point, which is an attempt to redo what it was doing, which was a magnificent bull market. Okay, comes back. Nothing wrong with the lower match appears below previous high. Even a lower high in here is fine. Does it correct this? Well, yes, in here comes back, matching high, comes in, and now it doesn't correct it well. Has the sudden break below and a large decline, breaking down all barriers of support, which is enough for this trend to start going negative, as we can see within the 18 average. I suppose we can give it one test because, as I mentioned about all the stages in reversal, well, technically this what you could say was a level of support that was taken out. And at what point does it get too large? Because okay, 2043, you've established support and it's just going down and down and down. By the time this goes to its final red candle, we got the declining 18 just starting to do so noticeably. When do you give it the determination of a bear market without doing that fourth step and just doing it right when it's basically doing step two? And but anyway, from this point, you resist the 18, really don't get above it. But you don't break down, and that's huge because you have a red candle, and then you have the green back up to this area. This is where it looks really strong, from March 20th all the way up to March 25th, and you start to break out a little bit of a red candle back to where it came from. That this doesn't tell you here that oh we're going down. We could is what you'd be saying, and of course it is doing that. But it's obviously had a hard time within this correctionary move, thus showing this as a failed move, showing this entire run to be that of a possible failed move. And that's where we still lie, possibly that, because this level of support has not been taken out. It was tested for a couple of days in here and close appears above here. Now for the last 4 or so days, it is resisting and really holding in, piercing below this level of support, but it hasn't held and stayed below the 20, we'll call it even 20 Canadian number. Rather, that's where it's settling in at, showing that it might resist it. And we go to the weekly chart for such. And just like gold, there's a sideways band now looking to establish a level of support. And not really the greatest of moves, but an okay move back in here. But same thing, if it can find any type of higher low, at or above about 19 and a half, and then lift off from there, that would be like a cup and handle formation that would form for something like that. And the monthly chart is just more of the sideways stuff. So to me, especially because silver back in 1980 was 50 US, which would have represented, I'm going to guess 60 to 65 Canadian, that this is one of the most undervalued, especially traditional assets that there is. And we'll get to untraditional in a second, but first the SPY. And within its long-term chart monthly, it's just been non-stop straight up pretty much since the 2009 lows, which came in at about the 67 handle. Now looking to break 300. A little bit of a correction here, a little bit of sideways, a small price one there, small one here, not really though. This was a little bit of one, but it's all that little bit. But the trend, of course, is still higher. It has obviously had this level of resistance, got by it. What do you expect for a break of resistance? A good leg higher. It's had that. So now at some point, it's got to go down. But I mean, that some point could be now. It could be at 350. It could be at 1,000. And who knows what number. Weekly chart, things are becoming possibly choppy. Possibly overextended. Well, first off, why is possibly choppy? Choppy is below the 18, above it, below, above it. And right now, if it doesn't have anything more than, say, a move up to, say, in here, right, maybe around 311, 314, and then it would have to pull back and then below the 18 for one leg lower. But usually around one leg above and below each of the numbers is how I look at that as choppy. At the same point, we could be developing an inverted head and shoulders pattern. This is the left shoulder, the head. If you find support somewhere around maybe the 260 handle. And breaking this level would mean new highs for the market. On the daily chart, what we have, it says pre-market up top. And yesterday's session gapped higher, closed lower. Today's session gapping higher because what we see here is a close of 290.16 on April 16th. And it's 8:35 a.m. as I'm doing this, so the market on my time still doesn't open for another 55 minutes. It says open 290.87, high 290.98, which is 11 ticks higher, low 290.85. That's 2 ticks lower for 13 in total. Okay, well, let's shorten it out to the hour time frame. And in doing such, this last period is a 290. Nothing about this 290 number way up here. So Yeah, it's going to gap well above the 18. And just like I said yesterday, before I said, well, it's probably going to gap above this level of resistance. It did. Find support here within the area where it came from. That's what happened. It did have this interesting pierce. I haven't seen what it looked like. So I will take a look at the very short term. But just of note that it's going to gap up here. So now I'm going to be looking for support at around 290 for this to just grind its way higher. I think what would be ideal maybe is something like this, just work on a sideways correction and then let the 18 meet up with it. So what's the story with this last hour? Okay, so this is it here. A little bit of a little of a failed sell-off at the very end of the day. Nice. Let's go to Bitcoin. And price action continues to stay and hold at the 18 average of highs. Nice level of resistance. This is day number 4, 5, 6 since this red candle down day. Has not yet even touched the 18 lows. That's magnificent. Anytime you see this significantly above the highs, right now significantly above the highs, and every day it's a bit higher, but about 53.70, pretty much near this previous high. Oh, if it's at 55.70, 56.20, yeah, put a cup of coffee on, and hopefully after I'm done, it should be at over 6,000. That's how fast these markets move. Basically, what I'm saying is, don't be surprised if it would have a 800 point move, 900 point move, dollar move over the time of like a 20-minute period, which is why I used that as an example. Just brew up a cup of coffee, let it sit for 3 minutes to cool down, all that type of stuff, and then drink it for 15, 20, and oh, look what happened on the market. Okay. All right. Now let's talk about situations as far as business. If you're in the business where you have something to sell, your product, your service, a lot of times it's even stuff that you really, really enjoy producing that you want to get paid for it. You deserve to get paid for it. A lot of people feel, which is true. And just if you're in the business of getting funds, period. Well, if you're forced into doing something, well, you're forced into doing something. And I think as time moves on over this, start of the next decade, but for the rest of this year, there's going to be a lot of people that are in the traditional sense of accepting dollars and euros and what have you for their local region. And they're going to be coming across all these Bitcoins and Litecoin talks here and there. I was watching a video yesterday, and even some before then. And the video was called Round 1, Game 3, Buds and Blocks, Boston 2, Toronto 3. Published April 16th, 2019. Steve Dangle's a very interesting feller. He's been doing YouTube videos pretty much since the start of YouTube. So back when the Leafs were really damn bad, and for many years along the way, he has posted analysis on every single game. He does a really good job, but he's entertaining. And he's just recently wrote a book. And also, we have this thing called the Marner Jar. This video, for view's sake, is at 46,000 almost. So in comment 19 hours ago, I'll put up 0.015 BTC, or LTC equivalent if you accept that, is you only accept fiat debt notes. Unhappy. Okay, Richard Fewer replied 9 hours ago. Thanks, yes, amen. Love sick kids hospital. Consider the war amps. Love children, my two favorite charities. GLG. I don't know what that GLG stands for. Good luck game. I don't know. Probably not even close. Not even close to that. Considering this is about that of the donations. As the link would be right in here. And within the page, you're going to have a payment section looking like the following. Donation amount, that's excellent. Get to choose what you want. Like I stated, I'm choosing what I want, which is the equivalency of a little over 100 Canadian. At this time anyway. That's price dependent. $50, 75 US is basically 78, 79 is about 0.015. So whatever that works out to Canadian, whatever. So I like the choosing of it. Currency, you have the choice of Canadian and United States dollars, and you have the choice to pay via credit card or that of PayPal. I haven't used PayPal since I got finished with fantasy sports back in 2001 and the number 5 or 6, 2016 maybe. Early 2016 is when I liquidated out of sites. So after that point, after I withdrew from PayPal, I've never used it since. And actually, no, throw that off. I actually made an eBay sale, I think, a little there after that. And I needed to use PayPal for that. So I technically could log in, and I suppose I could fund it up. But what's the point when I could just use that credit card? Oh, okay. Here's here. I mean, the problem I'm going to talk about is something I could get away with, but this is just a. Where is my card security number? You mean your private key? Yeah, it's just shown publicly there, which you're telling them what it is. Hmm. Yeah, yeah, no, rather not. I mean, yeah, rather not. See, as I look at this, there's going to be a lot of people who have not heard of Bitcoin, don't may not like Bitcoin too much, but they really don't understand the fiat currencies. Not only how when you deposit funds into a bank, it's technically a loan, the bank owns it. Different things about the how debt is guaranteed mathematically because of just like my trading system is guaranteed as long as the market moves, your coins are going to at least long term increase kind of deal. It's just like the system of the monetary system because of the interest and how the money is created, the debt levels and the debt levels upon individuals, nations, countries as nations, companies is only going to be high and astronomical. And in knowing those types of things, it makes, I'd have to say, you're forced to refute and accept these things that you're going to be hearing upon, even if your original instincts or original ideas are very negative upon such. And I'm a perfect example. I heard of Bitcoin when it was $1. Da Vinci J and Brother John F. are two YouTubers, as well as Max Kaiser, I suppose, as well. Back in the end of the decade of 2008. Well, 2008 is when I really started a lot of this big research, is why I say that number, and that's when the financial crisis happened. But these were people I was subscribed to by the end of 2009. So I was hearing about Bitcoin, and I even had a little glimmer of thoughts here and there. I suppose I probably could I I had small glimmers of thinking of it like a casino game. And I should have had more, and I wish I would have had more, and I wish I would have played it then. That's fine. But as the years went on, I obviously had second, third, and fourth thoughts along the way, and even more after that. Thank you for tuning in. Have yourself a great day. Bye bye.